If you trace America's beef supply on a map, clear hotspots emerge: Texas, Nebraska, Kansas. Not for oil or tech, but for turning grass and grain into millions of tons of beef each year. Behind this scale is a quiet transformation. Fewer farms, more technology. So how is beef really produced today, and what happens between the farm and your plate? Before cattle reach a processing plant, most of their value is created in one place: the feedlot. In the United States, Texas and Nebraska sit at the center of beef production, finishing tens of millions of cattle each year. Some feedlots hold 50,000 to over 100,000 head at a time, operating at an industrial scale. Fattening is the final stage before the process, lasting about 120 to 200 days. During this period, cattle can gain 2.5 to 3.5 pounds per day. Feed is the biggest cost, accounting for 60 to 70% of total production expenses. To stay profitable, feedlots use automated feeding systems that precisely control rations based on weight and growth targets. Reducing stress is equally important. Calmer cattle eat more consistently and convert feed more efficiently. Stress has a direct impact on how beef turns out. When cattle are stressed, they eat less, gain weight more slowly, and convert feed less efficiently. Over time, that lost growth adds up. High stress also affects meat quality. Stressed cattle are more likely to produce darker, tougher beef that is less appealing to consumers. To reduce this risk, many modern feedlots use automatic grooming machines. These systems help keep cattle clean, calm, and comfortable, lowering stress levels throughout the fattening period. This shift isn't just about productivity. Today's consumers are paying closer attention to how animals are treated. Labels like "humanely raised" are becoming part of purchasing decisions, pushing producers to focus on animal welfare as well as efficiency. Hoof health has a direct impact on how efficiently cattle turn feed into weight. According to U.S. feedlot data, cattle with mild lameness can eat 5 to 10% less feed, while severe cases may reduce intake by up to 20%. Industry studies estimate that lameness costs U.S. feedlots $20 to $40 per animal, mainly through lost weight gain and extended days on feed. To limit these losses, large operations follow scheduled hoof trimming programs and use livestock-specific restraint systems and precision tools designed for cattle, not dairy cows or horses. So the question becomes, how many pounds are lost before a limp is obvious, and how early should intervention begin? Once cattle reach their target weight, the focus shifts from growth to timing. Keeping cattle on feed too long increases costs without improving meat quality. In U.S. feedlot, animals are typically shipped once they reach 1,200 to 1,400 pounds, depending on breed and market demand. Weight data, feed efficiency, and mobility all factor into this decision. Cattle with sound hooves handle transport better, experience less stress, and arrive in better condition. Transportation itself is tightly managed from loading density to travel time because stress and fatigue at this stage can directly affect meat quality. Inside U.S. beef plants, quality control checkpoints appear at every major stage. Federal inspectors from the USDA monitor sanitation, carcass conditions, and food safety compliance. Meat that fails to meet standards is trimmed, downgraded, or rejected, each decision carrying a direct financial cost. But one of the most expensive vulnerabilities comes after the process: the cold chain. Carcasses must be chilled quickly and evenly. If temperatures drop too slowly, bacterial risk rises. Too fast and meat can toughen, reducing its grade. Even small temperature deviations can shorten shelf life, forcing products to sell at a discount. These technical failures don't stay inside the plant. They affect retail prices, export eligibility, and consumer trust. In the beef industry, quality isn't just inspected, it's priced, downgraded, or quietly lost, pound by pound, long before it reaches the shelf. Once beef passes inspection, packaging becomes the next critical defense. Modern plants use vacuum sealing and modified atmosphere packaging to limit oxygen and slow bacterial growth. From there, the product enters the distribution network. Refrigerated trucks, storage hubs, and retailers must all maintain strict temperature control. A single break in the cold chain during loading, transport, or storage can quietly erase profit, forcing meat to be discounted or discarded. And this is where the system comes full circle. Beef quality is shaped long before processing, but it can also be lost in the final miles. From feed efficiency and animal welfare to handling, inspection, and logistics, every step carries weight. So the question for consumers is simple. When you look at beef in the store, what part of this system are you really paying for? If you want to explore more stories behind the food we eat, stay with us. There's much more beneath the surface.
It all starts where you think the smelliest place is, whether it's Minnesota, Chicago, Wisconsin, or Maine. A tractor-trailer backs into a dock in Kansas or Nebraska and dumps a salted hide that the packing plant brings in for only $6 or $7. $35 million cattle are processed in this country each year. Virtually every hide is saved. Nothing is thrown away. Within minutes, it's weighed, scanned for brands and scars, and graded. Only one hide in 20 will ever be perfect enough for Red Wing's Iron Ranger, a Ford King Ranch seat, or a Halloween NFL football. The rest, about 19/20 hides that don't meet the highest standards, still turn out to be genuine leather, very durable, very good, still used to make high-quality, rock-solid shoes, car seats, belts. But they're not the kind of leather that's so rare, so perfect that people all over the US are willing to camp out overnight outside the store just to buy a pair, like the Red Wing Iron Ranger Limited, Alden Shell Cordovan, or some Halloween collabs. The second a raw hide hits the factory floor, it's tossed into a house-sized oak drum. For the next 1 to 2 days, it spins non-stop in warm water and lime. The hide soaks up liquid, swells to almost 3 times its size, and the hair loosens so much it practically falls off like an old jacket. That hair doesn't go to waste. It's sold for high-end paintbrushes and piano felt. Even when it looks its absolute worst, the hide is already turning a profit. Once the hide is clean and pale, it goes straight to the heart of the process, tanning. In the US, 90% of all automotive and aviation leather is chrome tan. The hides are loaded into stainless steel production drums holding 3,000 to 8,000 gallons. A precisely measured dose of basic chromium-3 sulfate, typically 1.5 to 2%, CR203 based on wet weight is added, the drum runs 8 to 24 hours at 100 to 108 TGF, and the pH is controlled between 3.8 and 4.2. Chromium ions permanently cross-link the collagen fibers, turning biodegradable skin into material that stays stable for over a century. When the drum opens, the leather is bright blue and stiff. This is the industry standard wet blue. It doesn't look luxurious yet, but chemically the transformation is already complete. From there, it's wrung out, split into layers accurate to 1/100th of a millimeter, and shaved to exact thickness. The machines do the cutting, but the final call still belongs to human hands. At Horween in Chicago, a grader with 4 decades on the floor closes his eyes, runs his fingers across the grain, and decides in one gentle tug whether this hide is bound for an NFL game ball or a run of shell cordovone that sells out in minutes. Those range marks, bug bites and healed scratches just look like defects nobody wants. But when a hide is chosen for genuine shell cordovane, every scar and wrinkle is proof of super dense, flawless collagen. The uglier the raw hide appears at the start, the more perfect and valuable the finished cordovane becomes. Often worth $1,000, 0 cents a square foot. Color comes next. The leather travels through 200-foot dyeing tunnels, where aniline dyes soak all the way to the core. Hot oils and waxes are pressed in under vacuum. Then the surface is ironed at 180 dF to seal everything. A final mist adds that addictive new leather scent we all know the second we open a new truck door or boot box. If you've ever sat in a King Ranch Ford, laced up a pair of Red Wings, or caught a pass with an official NFL ball, you've touched this exact process. If you've ever sat in a King Ranch Ford, laced up a pair of Red Wings, or caught a pass with an official NFL ball, you've touched this exact process. A single American steer can end up in 5 legendary places at once. Its hide might cover the Wilson football throne in the Super Bowl. The sport often gets a scandal. That's Adam Gambit, director of the wrap the seats of a Ford F-150 King Ranch. Form the top of a Lucchese cowboy boot. Make the pocket of a Rawlings baseball glove. And even become the strap on a Shinola watch handcrafted in Detroit. 1 cowl, 5 pieces of pure Americana. Today, the best U.S. tanneries run closed-loop water systems, recycle 98% of their processed water, and the United States is now the fastest-growing market for chrome-free leather in the world. Workers wear full respiratory protection, and more plants earn Leather Working Group Gold certification every year. And yet, after hundreds of millions of dollars in stainless steel and chemistry, the funniest truth still stands. When a summer thunderstorm rolls over Nashville or Milwaukee, the plant manager and every PhD on staff sprint outside with tarps because wet leather and rain still don't get along. $6 at the packing plant, a few weeks of American craftsmanship, and that same hide is now something that will easily outlast all of us, carrying the fingerprints of ranchers, packers, chemists, and craftsmen from the Texas plains to Fifth Avenue. So, which part got you? The smell of perfume swing? The scars that turn into gold? The old-timer who grades million-dollar leather by feel? Or the quarter-billion-dollar factory that still prays for sunshine? Drop your favorite moment in the comments. I will read every single one.
These pigs start life in a way that makes you rethink crowding everything together. They're from old black families that've been running the same hills for generations. A mama only raises 6 or 7 babies at a time, half what we push through our barns back home. Lesson there, give the mama some breathing room and every little one comes out tougher with better marbling from the start. That's already bumping the cost, because you're not turning them out by the truckload. When fall hits and they're big enough, around 1.5 years old, they walk out into these oak forests so wide you lose sight of the fence. For the last 3 to 5 months, what they call Montanera, they eat nothing but acorns dropping off the trees along with whatever grass and roots they root up. Up to 10 pounds of acorns a day per pig, free as the wind. I always figured corn was the ticket to good fat, but watching those pigs forage, I learned acorns weave that sweet, nutty flavor right into the meat without a feed bill in sight. Of course, those oaks take 100 years to get going, so you're investing in land that pays off slowly. That's part of why this ham starts adding up dollars before the pig even hits the scale. Every step's tracked from the day that pig drops ear tags, records on feed, weight, even the weather in the forest, so you know exactly where your meat came from. That's traceability in action in the processing factory, and it costs extra because it means no shortcuts, no faking it. The oaks feeding those acorns? They've got to be ancient, 1 century old at least, before they drop enough to matter. You can't hurry nature like that, and that's baked into the expense from the ground up. Pigs are processed at about 18 months, but the ham doesn't see your plate for another 3 or 4 years. My steers are market ready in under 2, but this extra stretch waiting for enzymes to work, flavors to build, is what turns ordinary pork into something that melts like butter. Learn the hard way. Rush the timeline and you miss the gold hiding in the slow seasons. In the processing factory, processing's no rush job over there, done with every health check you can imagine, following those strict EU rules that match right up with USDA standards for anything coming stateside. operations that ensure safety and meet USDA standards. Then the back legs get trimmed, careful, by hand, no machines rushing it. Workers in the processing factory pack them in sea salt for a week or so. One day per couple pounds of meat to draw out moisture and start that flavor deep. Wash it off. Let it hang in a cool room for another month or two, air circulating steady. Then comes the long haul, up into mountain cellars, where they dangle for 3 years straight on the Bellota grade, sometimes 4. Windows cracked open year-round for that natural wind, temperature hovering cool and humidity just right. No fancy coolers, just stone walls and patience. Every year, a fellow walks the rows rubbing a bit of olive oil on the rind to keep it from drying too tough. I used to run my hams through the smokehouse as fast as the fire would let me, figuring quicker was smarter and cheaper. Then I saw these Spanish cellars, no smoke, no heat, just cool air and 4 quiet years. That long wait is where the real magic happens. The fat works its way clear through the muscle, turns tough into something that melts on your tongue. Back home, we'd call that kind of delay a money loser, but over there, it's the whole reason one leg costs more than a registered bull calf. Half the pigs never hit the top grade after all that time, so the ones that do have to carry the load for the whole herd. Turns out, the opposite of a food factory is sometimes the smartest way to make meat worth a damn. I sliced 4 thick chunks off this leg and dropped them into Grandma's black skillet. The fat turned clear before the iron even thought about getting hot. Then I cracked 3 eggs right on top. That sizzle took me straight back to Sunday mornings when I was a kid. One bite and I had to set my fork down slowly. Sweet like fresh pecans, rich like a ribeye that grazed its whole life, gone the second it touched my tongue. 64 years raising cattle, processing hogs out back, eating whatever the food factories shipped to the grocery store, and this was the first time pork ever felt alive. Taught me right then and there that real flavor can't be rushed on an assembly line. It's earned over years nobody else is willing to give. I came home believing slower might just be the smartest play there is. Own ground that feeds itself. Track every step honestly in food factories, then step back and let time do the heavy lifting. That's the quiet lesson this ham whispered. Turns out, that's worth every penny it costs. Coffee's on if you're swinging by next Saturday, same hook, same story.